Welcome back to day 2. Today we are going to really focus on just creating timelines. Now we're going to take what we learned yesterday with our bibliography and works cited pages and be able to reference and research and give information on what we found, citing the source properly to develop this next thing. What we're going to do today is we're going to work on timelines. What are timelines? Timelines are just what they say. They're lines associated with certain times. Let's say we'll just start with an easy one, 2000, 2001, 2002, and so forth, right? And what this is going to do, terrible 3, is it allows us to place events that took place at certain times so that we can see the chronological order that they occurred in. Now, chronological order is basically what it says. This is time, this stands for order. So this is time, order. So the order in which they occur, so when they happened. Now, going from there, what we need to make sure that we appreciate and understand is how come timelines are important? Why do we need them? Why do we care? Well, timelines are good for us because they help us visually see what happened. In essence, we get a nice quick observation. We can look at the timeline and say, okay, well, so in 1940, this happened, in 1960, this happened, and so forth and so on. It's also a fun way to do things. And you can do numerous types of timelines. You can do personal ones, like a bibliography on, or not bibliography, a biography on somebody, or an autobiography of your own self. You can do historical events. You can do overall leaders, world, Yuma timeline. You can do specific timelines or whatever. You can even do a timeline for your daily morning routine. Timelines are good to get into the habit of doing because, let's say this project that we're working on right now, you might say that, well, by Wednesday, I need to have ... done. I need to have this done. By Thursday, you have this, and so forth and so on. So what you can do is by using timelines, you can organize yourself as well. But we're going to focus on what we've been always focusing on, and that is our wonderful submarines. You guys are going to create either a vertical, right, or horizontal timeline. Your choice. I'll give you some examples of timelines here in a moment. Here is an example of a horizontal timeline on the events and life of Benjamin Franklin. So the first things that I want to take note of is the dates. You want to set a pattern. It has to be a pattern. You can't just go 1700 and then go, I'm going to do 1701. You know what? The next line, I'm going to go ahead and do 1750. You want to keep a consistent pattern if you put dates on your timeline. That will be very important to be aware of. Put your dates, put your exact dates. And then from there, what you do is you use little lines. See the little dotted line here? Connecting this date to that time. This was when Benjamin Franklin was born. And it's down here, we find out, okay, so he worked in a printing shop. He was apprentice in a printing shop. It doesn't give us the specific date here, but we know that it was probably, if we figure this out, it looks like about one off. So this is probably 1719, roughly, right? Here he moves to London, and so forth and so on. So this is an example of a horizontal timeline. I like the addition of graphics and pictures and so forth to things. Notice that you always give a little saying of what it was. Now, some timelines you'll put actually the significance. We're not requiring that. We just want the event that occurred and the importance, or not the importance, but the date and the event. Here's another example of a horizontal timeline. Notice this time, though, we didn't have a set line like we did over here with Benjamin Franklin, but we had just the date in order in which they occurred. So 78, 87, 88. Now, there is no pattern. It's just this was an important date, this was an important date, this was an important date. That's why it's not set up on an actual line, even though it is in chronological order. And then what happened in 1978? Well, this happened. In 1987, this happened. And it's all about this Nicholas Hall guy, and so forth and so on. They used color. They did add some graphics, as you can see here. But this is just another example of a particular timeline. Here is a brief vertical timeline example. This was just a generic one that I built. Notice I don't have dates over here. So what I do is, you notice how I offset the arrows to kind of give you an idea of how much time was passed. So from 75 to 80, that's about 5 years, and then here was a bigger one, you got 7 years, and then you got just a little bit of time there, 2 years, 1, 1, 1, and so forth and so on. So what you find is that this is another way you can represent it. The dates aren't placed here, but the dates are here. So you must put somewhere in there some kind of visualization of the date. You always want the answer to the date. You want to put them in the right order they occurred. You want to give a little description of what happened on that date, that way why it's important. And then here I just put the line just to help you to visually see the passage of time. So this is just some examples of timelines. What you are going to do is you're going to have a little challenge here in a moment, and your challenge will be to create a timeline. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to go and research subs. And I want the history of submarines. Ah, my goodness, I am having problems with my spelling. So we'll just put subs. History of submarines. And this will give you a timeline when doing this, and you'll see a bunch of different timelines. And then you're going to pick 10 what you consider important events. And these events could be anything, right? So don't just like say list, but it could be some key events that you feel were important in the evolution or the growth, the change of submarines. How did submarines change, and why were each event important? Definitely the first thing you want to find out is who kind of came up with the submarine. From there, you are going to cite, so very important that you pay attention when you do this, 3 different websites. So where did you get the information? You're going to give me the 3 websites like we did yesterday, creating that. And you're going to put them in a bibliography page. Or, what did we call it yesterday? Works cited. That's all you have to do. So good luck, have fun with it, and just be creative. You can do any way you want, any style you want, any pictures you want. Just have fun. Enjoy. When you're done, go ahead and send that to Mrs. Sanchez's email that you got from her yesterday. Good job.